Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your host with the most, Griever, is always bringing you guys Ayakashi Triangle, the end, the finale, the finito. Chapter 144 is where it's all over. Matsuri, Suzu, and the grand conclusion. Now, was this a good ending? It was okay. Was it an expected cookie-cutter ending? Absolutely. And was the reasoning that everybody knew, everybody got it right, myself included, was the whole, instead of going a little deeper into the character, which they sort of do here at the end, but now we're going to explain that the whole being a different gender thing, all the developments with that is now going to be off-screened after the manga's over, which is kind of weird. And I've seen that complaint already after reading this chapter, but suffice it to say that Matsuri is going to wait. Why did Matsuri choose to remain a girl? It's not permanent. Like I already discussed, there's no way that's going to be the permanent choice. We have done time and time again in this manga saying Matsuri might have developed different and gotten different friendships and lasting relationships and stuff from being a girl. There has been benefits to being a girl. However, once again, the benefits of being the girl are more so the situations that being a girl put Matsuri in, rather than the fact of her gender, or his gender, had some part, but not all of it. That's the one key thing that sort of people, well, I'm not going to say that the fans of this don't recognize, but I think in general people don't recognize it. It seems too simplistic to just say, oh, because Matsuri turned into a girl, all these good things happened because he was a girl. No. Some things, but not everything. The fact of the matter is, because of the gender swap, it put Matsuri, regardless of gender, into different scenarios and situations. And because of the circumstances and those situations, different bonds, friendships, and yada yada were formed as a result. And I feel like too many people just write it off as Matsuri gained all this stuff because he was a girl, right? So, and this last chapter is sort of started to, but then fixed it, sort of painted it like that. It tried to. Just for a briefest of moments, it tried to basically say that Matsuri is happier and is better off being a girl because all of these things that happened, that would have happened basically regardless, still, and it's all the result of the gender swap. The gender swap is the cause, is the catalyst, but it's not everything. You know what I mean? So they were going to do that, and I'm thankful that then they sort of switched tones, and they said, well, I'm not going to do this permanently, and everybody guessed graduation, right? Everybody guessed going to finish graduation, and I saw one of the best comments, and I forget who said it, so I can't give credit, but if it was you, shout out. But somebody basically said, and it summarizes this chapter perfectly, it actually made the chapter better for me, is that at the end of the day, Matsuri chose to stay a girl because he's so scared of Suzu jumping his dick. That is literally, that is the long, the short, and everything in between. That is his reason. That is Matsuri's reason. He was like, yeah, so when Lily had you, took you over. Wait, you have Boy Matsuri's memories? Yeah. You were, wow. Yeah. Queen of the Jungle. You definitely were. And instead of coming out, and once again, I know it's done in a good way because they are both in love, and of course they're teenagers, and they're both horny, and etc., etc. It's fine, but at the same time, we could go a little darker, we could go a little deeper, and say that basically this is a case that happens in many couples, and generally speaking it happens man to female, is I'm not in the mood. I'm not ready to take that next step. Basically, Suzu is ready to jump Matsuri the moment he gets a dick again, right? She is ready to boom, boom, boom. There's no need for clothes for a month, right? As far as she's concerned. Matsuri is not quite ready for that. It's still a lot to him, and it's a lot to Suzu too, but she's just the one that's like, yep, I'm going for it. And Matsuri's realistically not ready to jump from... All they've basically done is some Ichi moments, but they've basically only kissed. They're going to go from kissing to all the way, and it's this lateral move that's just way too... It's too much all at once, right? It's like being in Pee Wee baseball and then joining the MLB all of a sudden to him. It's too big a jump. It's too a giant a leap. Just to start off, he sort of recognizes that that's what's going to likely happen. He's going to be pressured into basically having to do things that he's right now just a little uncomfortable. Not that he doesn't want to do it, but right now he's like, listen, I want to... In the best possible way, what Matsuri is trying to say here is, I still want to take things slow. I want to progress. I'm good with progression now, but I feel like I think I want to build up to that. I want the build up. I want to take it slow. I don't want to just one done jump straight to the end of the game, right? We just started level 1. I don't want to beat level 100 right after. I want to play through the whole game, right? I don't want to beat the final boss yet. So... that's sort of what Matsuri is saying here. As I said, the commenter wrote it absolutely correctly. Chose to stay a chick because just was too afraid of Suzu just jumping him. And that's pretty accurate. And once again, it's a more adult manga, we know that. And once again, it's done more so for comedic effect. And here, it's a happy ending. Sure, we see everybody. Everybody's all good. We learn, of course, at the last minute here, we learn about so maybe she's not the only reincarnation. And it was all, basically, so many stories have done this, so many fairy tales, but basically, Inuyasha did this way better back in the day. Prince of Persia, the Jake Gyllenhaal version, Prince of Persia, did the same thing, was the whole rebirth, reincarnation, all based on a wish. All based on the idea, I want to live my life with this person, whether in this life or the next. And of course, it's a super-powered person who wishes this. If you wish upon a star, Sailor Moon did it. They all do it, right? So many, it's cheesy because it's been done so many times, and here they just have to make sure that we hit that nail on the coffin and tie that up, and basically be like, yeah, so it's basically two reincarnate. And we're not sure, but of course we're sure. It's the very first Ayakashi medium wished to be with her lover for forever, and forever is reincarnation. Right? So, and they'll meet again, they'll find each other, they'll fall in love again, right? Yeah, it can be done very well, and I'm not upset at the trope of doing it, but you have to be able to do it, and it can be very romantic. It can be incredibly romantic and hit those notes. But because this was sort of tacked on in the last 10 chapters, we had no indication of it prior to this. It feels really cheesy and really tropey here at the end. I think so anyways. So the fact of the matter is that, yeah, we get Matsuri's reason. Matsuri is going to turn back into a boy eventually. And it's all good, but still wants to figure some stuff out and prefers being Girl Matsuri for the duration right now. And once again, the commenter is absolutely right. That's literally the long and the short of it, is that he's just not ready. And if this was, it's done fun and happy, and Shirogane shows up and goes, absolutely shameless, because then Suzu remarks, I've got all my awakened powers. Maybe, what I could do is maybe I could learn that body swap jutsu sort of idea, so that way, or the gender swap jutsu, that way, I can do girl Matsuri, if I'm feeling like a little bit of the feminine touch, or if I want a big strong man, I can go boy Matsuri, and I can do it on a whim. I can enjoy both of you and stuff. And so Shirogane is just jumping right out of there. This is not a porn category, Suzu. Shameless. So that's a thing, right? And then we have the whole... There's another Ayakashi attack, and they never mention why Shirogane's back in his, cute little, fat kitty form. Nobody remarks on it, so I guess he's still got his powers. He's just doing that because that was his form for most of the series, I'm guessing, is the reason, and for the comedic effect. Anyways, he jumps in and be like, there's another Ayakashi problem. Let's go, you two, and off to another adventure, right? Like how a lot of them end off. We see little cuts of everyone with the narration across it. We see Garaku, we see, Ryo, we see, Kuru, we see everyone. We see Matsuri's mother, we see Roka, we see what everybody's up to, right? And then the chapter ends and such. So yeah, is it a rushed ending? A little bit. Is it a very basic cookie cutter ending? Yes. And as I said, the last point, which I keep trying to get to, but I want to make sure I get all the points across, get all the notes out of the way, anything I wanted to talk about, is if this was done from where it wasn't Suzu was the horn dog and it was the other way around, it would not be so funny. Because Suzu has been constantly pressuring Matsuri. And as I said, a little darker, a little deeper into this, Matsuri is not ready and basically knows that Suzu cannot control herself and would pressure him into a situation that he doesn't want to be in. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in this day and age especially, if the gender, ironically in this series, gender swap, if the situation was reversed, if the roles were reversed, it would look pretty bad, wouldn't it? If the guy was going after the girl constantly, pressuring the girl into doing sexual things. I mean, it's fine and it's funny, but it's actually not fine. I mean, we can go into a whole discussion about that, and I don't think Ayakashi Triangle is trying to do that. Once again, I don't think I'm going to do another gender bender manga on the channel. There's too much in today's air of, cancellation and all this anti-this and pro-this and this, that, and the other thing. It's the gender bender genre has seen its day, and I think it's done and over because it's not funny anymore. Ranma Half was funny. This was funny. But nowadays, as an adult in today's world, the situations that are involved here just feel too on the nose. You hear about all the horror stories involving this stuff, especially with LGBT and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, and people really are swapping genders and all this stuff. And so it's not as magical and fantastical as it once was. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to follow any more gender bender manga on the channel at the very least, because thankfully I stayed under the radar with this series, and I didn't get any hate or cancellation for any opinions I might have had about a fictional story and fictional characters involved. But sometimes certain situations that they get in, like this one right here, Suzu pressuring Matsuri is done for fun. It's funny. The girl's horny for a change, and most guys are usually fine with that. I'm a guy. I think I can speak for. It's like, yeah, it's if the situation is reversed, it's not so funny. But when it's a girl, it is funny. And is that right? I don't know. Maybe it's not. It shouldn't be funny, and that's what needs to change. I don't know, but I think it's taken with less problematic situation because it's girl on girl, and it's also girl on guy and girl's body. It's not guy going after girl and she's saying no. Matsuri is basically here saying, I'm not ready for that level yet. Do not pressure me. No, she's going to pressure her. So Matsuri literally put a wall up, an absolute wall of, you can't get my dick because I'm staying a chick. Because he doesn't trust Suzu enough. It's not a great implication, really, when we go actually into the little in-between-the-line details of this. It's done funnily, but read more than 5 seconds into the situation, and it's not that funny. Suzu doesn't respect Matsuri's wishes, and boundaries, and any of that shit, and, man. In all honesty, the more I talk about it, the more dirty I feel this chapter is. The more, maybe it was a good thing that it ended here at 144. I thought we'd hit a solid 150. I thought there was still a few things to clear up here. Apparently not, but that is the end. Of course, this is going to be a longer review. I hope it is anyways. I'm looking at the timestamp here. But, I don't know if I might make a video just discussing the whole series as a whole, like a series-wide review, probably like a 25-30 minute video here. But this is the last chapter review, and I've reviewed this since chapter 1. This isn't something that I jumped into, 100 chapters in and started reviewing or something. Like One Piece, I jumped into the 700s back in the on my old channel. Seven Deadly Sins, even, I didn't jump into that until after the first season of the anime, so that must have been into the hundreds as well. Food Wars was something I jumped into relatively early on, but yeah, so realistically, I think this is the only series that as it was ongoing that I jumped into on chapter 1 and have stayed the whole 144 chapters worth. So as a result of that, is it a great series? Absolutely not. Is it average? Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4 or a 5 out of 10. It's got some glaring weaknesses, and they don't utilize the cast very well. The plot is very typical Monster of the Week stuff. It's nothing that no one's seen before. We've seen all this stuff before, so not super original. Yeah, it had some glaring issues, but I mean, some weeks were better than others. Some chapters were better than others, obviously, and the art style was good. One of its redeeming qualities was the very good art. I always liked the art style here, and some of the designs were incredibly cool for some of the Ayakashi and stuff, right? Shirogane's full cat form is really, really, really cool. But yeah, so that's the end of Ayakashi Triangle as a whole. We're closing the manga completely on this one with 144 chapters. What did you guys think, though? Did you love the series? Did you hate the series? Were you, alright, it's a fun little read alongside all my other series? I don't think it's anybody's favorite. If it is, that's fine. But yeah, so as far as an ending goes, as a final chapter, it's typical. It's nothing new. It's generic, but it is what it is as well. So that's my spiel, guys. What do you guys think? As I always say, let me know down in the comment section down below. And we'll see you guys back here next time. For the next series that we choose to do, I might take a break from just adding any old series right in its time slot, as it were. But, stay tuned, and maybe by, Christmas time, I'll have started a new series to replace Ayakashi Triangle. But this also frees me up for an opportunity to catch up on some other things that I've been meaning to do for a long time, like Mob Psycho 100 reviews and reactions, right? I promised to do that at 1,000 subs, and I've yet to do that, and I've almost hit 1,100. So, yeah, really got to get on that one. But, anyways, did you guys enjoy Ayakashi Triangle? And did you enjoy my reviews on it? Was I too serious? Should I have just been sitting back and saying, okay, it's just a comedy, try not to read too much into it? Sometimes I was able to do that, and other times, not so much. Sometimes there was things that were just hitting too, in this day and age, just, they're not as funny anymore. You ever sit down and watch like a 70s or an 80s sitcom and stuff, and it's like, some of these jokes are just like, whoa, that would not pass today. That would not be okay to say today, you know what I mean? So, anyways, I felt sometimes Ayakashi Triangle was like that, but once again, that's a North American opinion over on a Japanese, it's a world apart, so is what it is. But anyways, and once again, I didn't personally have very many problems with it. I see the humor in it, I always have, but I can see why some of these situations, put to this way, in this day and age, I wouldn't write a manga with some of the stuff that happened here. Because it could get you in hot water. Some of the stuff, some of the messages you're sending. Nowadays, everyone's a little more, So, anyways, it is what it is. But yeah, that was all 144 chapters of Ayakashi Triangle. Hope you guys enjoyed my reviews of the series. And we'll see you back here next time for the next series that I do. Sayonara, everybody. Bye-bye.